Good day and welcome to another GM Tips. This is GM Rick here, and I hope you're having a great week so far with your gaming. And today I'm going to dive a little bit into a book that I got recently, or my fiance did for me, which I really love, and that's the Inner Sea Intrigue. I know some folks have really gotten behind the intrigue side of things, and I think intrigue in general just gives a lot more to the game when it comes to role playing, verbal battles, having the vigilante class, and just a lot of other things that it brings into the fold when it comes to espionage, spies, and other items. It really, I think, just fleshes things out. Where in the past, I think Pathfinder has been heavily spell combat and spell based, as well as combat based. Yes, the other classes had some things, but they really were limited in what they could do. Now, one of the things I like about this is they give you the nefarious schools. And these schools, again, sorry, let's see if I can do this right here. As you can see, the legends, and it goes through Golarion and gives you the different schools that are there. And the schools that they call out and give a little bit of background for the enterprises, rebel groups, secret schools, and spy academies include Urgel's Axe, Guild of the Liars, Woodsedge Dissidents, the Twilight Talons, the Kitharodian Academy, the Guild of Wonders, the Sword Pit, the Freebooters Academy, the Bright Lions, the Honors of Isibu, the Conservatory, and the Kasari Gama. And so I like that they start by giving you regions that are full of intrigue. And in the first section of the book, they do a good overlay of that with Absalom, Bravoy, the Chelish Empire, or Cheliax, Galt, finally. I think a lot of us have been waiting for more things to come out of Galt with the Grey Gardeners, and what they've been doing is kind of priming the pump for that with the different material from the Inner Sea Intrigue to this to some of the other things that are coming out with magical tactics and some other items. They're really priming Galt, I think, for an area that you guys will be able to utilize more. Katapesh, one of my favorite places on the world of Golarion. Keonan, one of my characters currently is playing a spy out of Keonan, and so for him, this is great because I can really work with him because they make note of Irajas and the test of the Starstone and the Severian Stone, which is an Elven Stone version. Mito Galte, who doesn't love the island of the Red Mantis Guild? The Mwangi Expanse, Nex, Rahadum, Ramzaran, River Kingdoms, and Taldor, and finally Ustalav. Now, they also give you a list of the schemers of the Inner Sea, and I like that. They've been doing this more and more in the books to give you an idea of who some of the real key schemers are in the area. And they give you enough here in order, some of which are in adventure paths, some of which aren't. And so they give you a little bit of background of who some of these, what I would say is arch goodies and arch baddies will be for play and campaigns. One of the things they also talk about is the avenue of intrigue, and it talks about a lot of different things. So some of the things they talk about is the archives, so where you can gain information to utilize in your intrigue. In this case, this is in the Library of Courtesan and Absalom, so you can find out some really key and interesting things. They give you mass persona ideas. So they go a little bit through the mass personas, and I like that they do this, and they take time to do this, and how to maintain a persona. Not that some of us don't already know this, but if someone's new to the system and new to playing these type of things, this is really good information for them. And then they have some things that go with them, the benefits of the mass persona, and they have actual feats for the persona, which is the mass symbol and the mass renown and convincing persona. So it gives you the ability to allow people to believe in your persona and you being two different elements. And that's one of the things I love about the vigilante class is you can be a vigilante and no one would know that your character is that vigilante other than the other players. It gives you some information on starting a rumor and how to start rumors. One of the things I like about that is they really go into the starting abilities of, if I want to start a rumor, and what kind of rumors can I throw out there that would be damaging or helpful. And they even give you some ideas of this. They give you actually some inner sea rumors that are out there. And these include the Chelish real agenda, expanding the mana wastes. What's the agenda there? Pathfinder Society's true origins, or the prince is dead, the secret pilot puppeteers, and the terrible creatures underground. So there's some things there that they give you that allow you to throw out rumors and plots that could hurt or help a region. Something else that goes into the stylized spells. So they allow you to stylize your spell and your magic to go along with the intrigue, and I like that as well. They give you some more on verbal duels, like earning trust, inciting a riot, or trials, how to affect trials, which is really good if you think with the Carrion Crown. That's one of the things that I love about the Carrion Crown, is that there is some use of intrigues there, and boy, this Inner Sea Intrigue will be a huge help when it comes to running that now, if you want to run that for your players. Then they go through the nefarious schools that are out there that really are the intrigue centers. And it talks about, how do you join a school? What are the benefits? So it's kind of like, if you remember the occult information, the occult book that came out a long time ago before the Occult Adventures. It's kind of one of those things that you can use that to build prestige, as well as use those points when it comes to, let's see if they give it to you. Yes, the PP and the fame. And so I love that they do that again, and really, whoops, let's see if I can get this in here good. They point things out on that. I'm sorry, as I get closer, the camera doesn't give it enough justice on that. But one of the things it does, it gives you awards for being part of the Freebooters campaign, the Guild of Liars, the Guild of Wonders, the Bright Lions. So they got rebel groups, so the Bright Lions, Urgel's Axe, and the Woodshed Dissidents. And then your secret schools, like the Honor of Asibu, Kasurigama, and the Sword Pit. So there's different types of things that you can be a part of in the intrigues. And there's even spy academies, which I love this. They have the conservatory that is in the Grand Surret in Jalmaray. There is the Kitharodian area, which is in Opara, which the Lions Blades. And then the Twilight Talons in Almas, Andoran. So there's some different groups and things that you can be a part of that really help to build that campaign. Then it talks about Masters of Intrigue, so the intrigue-themed classes, and then how to use those type of things. So, you know, they've got Inquisitor Inquisitions that go with the actual intrigue. So Clandestine Inquisition, Execution, Sedition, Seduction. They give you investigator talents, like the Atheist Inspiration, the False Spellcaster, the Favored Beat, the Iconoclast Strike, the Silencing Strike, the Sustaining Inspiration Expertise, and the Twilight Talon Improvisation. And then they have rogue talents that go with it. So they don't only hit those as well as the vigilante, but they really hit the classes that are going to use intrigue. And I like that. Again, another benefit to this book. And then they go into some really fun classes that go on that you can add on for your more elite type of class specialization. And so I really like that. In fact, they go with a courtesan, which I think is really an interesting one, because when you're a courtier, you learn a lot of information that's really key for the intrigue. They finally give the Lion's Blade. How long have we been waiting on that one? Quite a while, especially for the ones like in the Tal'Doran-based campaigns. Having this as a class thing that you can use is great. And then they have, finally, the Archtypes, where you can have an asphyxia thought killer, which is a vigilante type, a bonded investigator, or the frozen ninja for the north, or the Galton agitator, or the God caller from Ramzaran, the guardian of immortality, which is an investigator type, the gorilla, which is the rogue archetype, the Kelishite prophet, an oracle, the lantern bearer, which is a ranger type, another fun one, the magic warrior, which is a magus, the Nexian spell spy, the Nithvale adept, which is a druid off thing, a perfect scholar for the monk, the provocateur for the bard, the royal accuser for the inquisitors, the tinkerer for the alchemist, the studious librarian. And I love the tinkerer because they finally friggin' go into doing clockworks. I have been waiting for that for so long for some of my gnomes and other things that I run on the NPC side. So bravo, guys. And then they give you special items that you can use for your intrigue toolkits. And so they have different types of alchemist things and gear and poisons and magical rings. So they give you some magic items that are specifically based towards the intrigues. And finally, last but not least, spells. So they give you some new spells like apathy, assume likeness, brightness light, Callistria's guardian wasps, commune with texts, dagger marks exchange, diminishing direction, Dongun's shaper's touch, and a host of others. Do I like this book? Absolutely. Is it the money? Sorry, potty training. Always fun. So is it worth the money? I think so. On my scale, out of a 1 to 5 stars, 5 being the high, I give it a 4.5. I think it was really well written. I think they put in a lot of things that are going to be really great for the intriguers. Rogues, monks, bards, alchemists, inquisitors, investigators, and also the vigilante. I really like what they've done. And in my mind, they've taken classes that are the typical thief or the typical ninja or the typical monk or the typical this or typical that and really given it to the intrigue end of things. And so that's important. And so remember that and keep that in mind as you look at it, is that, and they flavored them. Again, sorry for the interruption. I know it kind of skips once in a while, but as a dad, you just got to understand what happens to me. That's something that I'll tell you right now that I like, is that they are really embracing introducing the intrigue in a major way. And I hope Paizo continues this as they release books to really push them into the forefront, to make something that's unique and different that honestly, I'll be honest, for you D&Ders, I feel sorry for you guys. I mean, you're missing out on a huge thing because this intrigue, unless you adapt it to D&D 5e, you don't have it. You have your base classes. And that is my biggest thing. I mean, I love the two systems. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to get to play 5e here next week for my first time. I've been a D&Der in the past, and I know people love simplification because you can do anything. Well, yeah, no. Simplification sometimes makes things simple and boring. And to be honest, if I play D&D enough times and I don't have some alternative choices as to archetypes, classes that are unique skills, unique feats, I get bored. And that's what I'm afraid of. And it's one of the reasons I haven't invested into 5e, is I'm afraid as a GM that's been doing it for 21 years, I'm going to be bored, senseless in playing D&D. And it's sad because I started there. And I think it's great in some ways that Wizards has taken the system and simplified it to bring in new gamers. And for those of you that are just starting into D&D, it's greatness for you because it's easy to learn. But at some point, you're going to get burned out. It happens because you're going to play the same old, same old. For me in Pathfinder, I am never bored. I am always constantly looking at something new and a new way of doing these classes. And no rogue is the same in Pathfinder, nor is a bard, nor is an investigator, nor is a magus, nor any of these classes. They're not the same. They are unique. And that is one of the things that the Inner Sea Intrigue brings, is it brings the Golarion Inner Sea campaign flair to the the ultimate intrigue, which I think is a great thing. And I think for us that play the Golarion system, it's just really well done, and it's really helpful and timely. Keep up the great work, guys. Look forward to the next one, and hopefully my next big review will be on Horror Adventures when it comes out. I'm looking forward to getting that book. I'm looking forward to reviewing it. I'm looking forward to what it brings to the system, and I'm looking forward to all the supplements that are going to go with it. And so I look forward to it. I may do some other reviews before then, but most likely that's going to be my next one. And so I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope these are helpful for you as I go through these books, and as you're making a decision of, do I buy it or don't I? Buy this one. Just my opinion, but as a GM, love it, love it, love it. Thanks, and have a great week of gaming, everybody, and enjoy your system. D&Ders, please don't take it as a slight. Enjoy the 5e. It is a good system. For me, I love the flavors that Pathfinder brings.